Community Plan. I want to say, to start off, if you have called in, and it looks like there's maybe one or two of you and have access to a computer, you can go online to mpc.com or nashville.gov/mpc and scroll down to the page so you see the our events window, and then I'll give you a link to be able to watch this online. I think it should be running on Metro Nashville Network. I know we're recording this meeting and it should be on Facebook Live. So if those are two other options you can look at for finding this video, otherwise you can watch it online after the fact. This is the second one of these we've done, so we may run into a few hiccups, so just bear with us and we'll do the best we can and we'll get through this together. I'm not doing this by myself, thank goodness, because this would be a disaster otherwise. So I have several members of the planning staff with me. From the planning department, we have Amelia Lewis, who is reviewing the rezoning request that is accompanying this plan amendment request. Greg Claxton, who is my manager and leading the community planning and research team. And Anita McCaig, who is another community planner with our team. And then last but not least, Laura Harvick, who is a research planner who is running our polls and different things. From the applicant team, we have Roy Dale from Dale & Associates, and we also have Councilmember Rosenberg with us as well. Councilmember, would you like to say anything to the group before we get started?
Sure, thank you so much, Stephanie, and thanks for putting this together. For those who aren't aware, this is a piece of property across the street from the public shopping center on Highway 100 next to the church. There's been a rezoning request to place to put a Las Palmas there. They would be moving from the Kroger Shopping Center over, and there's a small community plan amendment that comes along with us, which is the stated purpose of this meeting. I'm eager to hear from neighbors, their thoughts on this property becoming a commercial site. It is, of course, right there in a commercial corridor, but it's also a property that's residential right now. So I'm looking forward to hearing the discussion. I appreciate everybody who's been working on that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's see if I can get my stuff to work again. Okay, so meeting logistics. As we said, there is a link on the Bellevue Community Plan page to get you to this. Of course, it's not clickable, so I apologize for the long link, but it's what we have at the time. We are running on Metro Nashville Network Channel 2 and Facebook Live. Right now, we have your audio muted unless you're a participant, and then we can unmute you as needed be. If you have joined on the phone, unfortunately, we can't take your questions right this on the phone, but if you want to email me or contact me or give me a call later and I can answer your questions ahead of at that point. We do have a Q&A panel on the app. And so once we get to that point, I'll show you the next slide to show you how to raise your hand to be unmuted to ask a question when that time comes up. And so, like I said, this is being recorded and will be on our YouTube channel after everything's done. Let's see. Okay, so as I said, here's the kind of interface you may have on the right-hand side, typically on the right-hand side of your screen if you're using the WebEx app. And you'll see beside your name a little button where you can click and raise your hand. And so that's how we identify who has a question and can get them in queue to be able to answer their question verbally. If you don't want to do that, you can also, I don't know if you can see if I'm clicking the wrong button. There's on that same side, there's a Q&A panel. If it's not fully exposed, you just click the arrow and it'll show you all versus my Q&A. If you click all and type your question, then we can all see the question and make sure that it gets answered either during the conversation or immediately after with in our follow-up messages. Okay, so the purpose of this meeting is to talk about a community plan amendment. We'll talk about that, the details of the particular site, the community planning and background information for the area, policy and zoning, the difference between those two, a little bit more about the proposed plan amendment. The applicant will be able to give their thoughts and their comments about the on the project, and then we're going to have time for questions and discussions. Unfortunately, we are in a very tight frame. We've got 2 of these going tonight just because they're so labor intensive with staffing. As you notice, we have like 8 panelists and maybe 6 people participating in the meeting. So you can get an idea of how much work goes behind making sure that all this runs smoothly. So we have a hard cutoff at 6:30. If you have anything that doesn't get covered by that, please, please, please email or call me and I can answer any questions that you may have. Okay, all right, so what's that? Okay, so why are we here? To discuss the request to amend the Bellevue Community Plan for 2 properties on Highway 100. They face on Highway 100 at the southwest corner of Highway 100 and Temple Boulevard. So we're going to describe the proposed change of the plan amendment, explain the process for the change, and then gather any feedback from you guys. That's what this is for. And then once all this is done, I'm writing a report to give a recommendation to the Planning Commission. Okay, so again, here's the site. It's highlighted in red. There's 2 parcels. They're very heavily wooded. It's at that intersection that Councilman Rosenberg spoke about. There's the Publix to the north. There's a Kroger further down on the west with the church right beside it. Let's see. So just a view of the property facing onto it from Highway 100. So why are we here? All of this is centered around how we make plans for the future of Nashville. And so what we have is our comprehensive plan called Nashville Next that provides guidance for the 14 community plans as you see on the map here. And each of those community plans has information and guidance on how to make decisions about the area and moving forward. So if there's any ideas for rezoning or anything that needs to happen that way, we look at these policies for how to make that move forward. All of this is contained in Volume 3 of Nashville Next, which is the Community Character Manual and the Community Plans. So the Community Character Manual is used to explain and institute the community character policies applied for each plan. They provide the direction for use of the tools such as the zoning or urban design overlays. A lot of people heard of the SP zoning. All of that is guided by the community plan and the community character manual. So they help shape the form and character of the community. Okay, so why are these policies important, you may ask? As I said, they provide excuse me, they provide guidance for the recommendations we make to the Planning Commission or to Metro Council on those zone change requests. Zone change requests that are consistent with existing policies have a higher likelihood of approval. So when we look at these things that may not meet the existing policy, we think of why, and we figure out whether or not it makes sense to change that policy to help with that rezoning. Which is basically a summary of the second, third, and fourth bullets. But to change the community plan, we look to the public to provide guidance because we look at the public in the first place through Nashville Next and all of the community planning processes we do to shape that future. And so before we change that, we need to make sure that we go out to the community and make sure that we are doing the right thing. So some people get a bit confused about the difference between land use and policy, or land use policy and zoning. So as I said, the land use policy is the guidance and the vision for the area, and the zoning is the legal aspect of that policy. So the zoning gets to exactly how the building sits on the property, what the sidewalks and landscaping need to be, and all those different details to get to to execute the vision of the policy. Okay, so I've said policy a lot in the last couple of minutes. So the policies for this area are, and you can see the properties highlighted here in, I keep doing that. Highlighted here in red. The policies here are T3 neighborhood maintenance and conservation. And what you have surrounding it is the T3 community, suburban community center. And then over on the blue on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side is a civic use, which is the Harpeth Valley School. So T3 suburban neighborhood maintenance. The intent of that policy is to maintain the general character of developed suburban residential neighborhoods. These are neighborhoods that have been around for a while and they've kind of got an established development pattern that usually consists of low to moderate density residential. Think of larger lots than you would see in like the closer to downtown. And usually mainly residential, but we'll also have some institutional land uses. Institutional land uses being schools and churches and things of that nature. What we usually use with the neighborhood maintenance, we make efforts to be made to maintain the existing character of the neighborhood, and any enhancements that could be made would be to improve the pedestrian realm, to improve the accessibility to the area. I also said there's a conservation policy on the parcels. There's quite a bit of conservation on that. And the intent of that policy is to preserve environmentally sensitive features through protection and remediation. It's within all transect categories. I'll talk a little bit more about transects in a moment. It's the way we categorize different types of density and different types of development. Conservation policies identify land with sensitive environmental features, including but not limited to steep slopes, floodways, floodplains, rare or special plants or animals, wetlands, or unsuitable and problem soils. And they provide the guidance for preserving or enhancing the features depending on the transect that they're in. So, for example, the guidance that would be provided for an urban transect for conservation may be a little different than what would be in a suburban transect. Okay, so the surrounding policies, well, that didn't come out like it was supposed to. Well, surrounding that is the T3 community center policy and the, as I said, the civic. So talking about the transects, basically the transect is how we categorize the different types of development. As you can see on the slide here, you have T1, which is rural, which is, is very sparse, or natural rather, and it's, very sparsely developed if at all. Rural is a little more so, and as you go further down on the list, you get more detailed. T5 centers are typically like think of the renovation of the Bellevue Center, Bellevue Mall. That would be a center that would draw a lot of people from a larger area than would be, like a community center for a suburban area, which would be more of a 10 to 20 minute drive, or people who are coming there for a specific thing. Okay, so some of the factors in play when we analyze the policy, potential policy change. We look at guidance from different planning documents, and I didn't change my slide. That still says East Nashville. We look at planning documents like Nashville Next, the Bellevue Community Plan, Walk and Bike Nashville, the Major and Collector Street Plan. We look at how you access the site, whether there's sidewalks or walkways in the area, if there's transit availability, which is something that is a little different in a suburban setting as opposed to an urban setting, the roadway capacity. We look at location, surrounding land use policies, density around the area, visibility of site, and the fabric of the neighborhood in and of it, in the area as well. So that is my presentation. Roy, if you would like to talk about the proposed plan amendment and rezoning, then I can get you set up to share your documents.
Okay. So this is Roy Dale. I'm representing Las Palmas. It's a local restaurant that is pretty much a community restaurant within this area. They are in the Kroger Shopping Center, I believe, nearby. They are wanting to purchase their own property and build a small restaurant. I think they've talked to a lot of their neighbors about this. Talk about the policy just for a second. I'll go back to that. These two parcels of land, there's two houses on it. Those houses are becoming fairly dilapidated. They're separated from any other neighborhoods out there. They're separated by a wide floodplain and conservation area. And it's pretty clear that these houses, really need to be at a different use. I don't think anyone would want to live on these particular parcels. So, Stephanie, can you see this layout right here? See that? Can everybody see that, Stephanie? Trying to share this.
Stephanie, do you need to shift the presenter function to
I'm doing it now. 1 second.
There it goes.
Did it show up for a second? And go back to share again.
Okay.
see if I can find.
To go.
Yeah, Roy, share your screen, share your content. It's a button
Yeah,
along
I'm
the
trying to
bottom.
find it again. Wait up for a second.
It's like an arrow, a box with an arrow pointing.
You
Yeah, at
see
the
that?
bottom of the screen.
Right, I did that.
Oh, are you clicking on the button that's next to the video icon?
Yes.
Okay, it's not sharing your screen. Can you try clicking on it again?
Hold on a second.
Okay. There
Does
you
that
go.
work?
Yes, it did.
All right. So,
Yeah, there you go.
this is the proposed Las Palmas restaurant. More or less where my hand is. That's right. That's where the floodplain is. So all of this area in here is floodplain, and it more or less protects the communities on the opposite side of this tributary. So it's just a small area of property that's outside of the floodplain. It's clearly surrounded by all these commercial uses. So Las Palmas wants to build a 6,400 square foot restaurant, and that's approximately how it sits. It doesn't look like the right plan nowadays. I've revised this plan to rework this parking so that it doesn't have all these dead-end spaces, more or less, but the restaurant sits in its current location. It has its access point off of Highway 100. It does not conflict with any of the two access points across the street. A traffic study has been completed. It's been turned into planning. It's been approved by traffic and parking for the access that's going to occur right here. Pavement widths will be widened here. There'll also be an 8-foot grass strip. It's in a 12-foot multi-lane pathway for bikes and walkers that at some point in time, as this area continues to grow, will connect to other wide sidewalks within that area. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thanks, Roy. So I guess that means now we are ready for questions. So let me switch back to where I was supposed to go. Come on. Let me share my content. Let me, if someone can switch back to me for sharing, I'll put up my last slide. Oh, awesome. Okay, so after hearing all of this, we want to hear what you say, what you think about it. So if you need to look at it again, the recording meeting will be on the planning department's Facebook page in the next day or two. If you, after this, actually, let me just back up. I am going way all over the place. Okay, so the recorded meeting will post as soon as it's over, or as soon as we can get it set up and online. The Planning Commission meeting for this case is for July 23rd, and that would be for the plan amendment as well as the rezoning request, which is an SP rezoning. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to email me or give me a call. My number is on the screen. My email is there as well. After we're done with the Q&A, I would like for, or at this point now, if you want to scan the QR code or go to the URL that's listed, and give us your feedback on this plan. If you like it, don't like it, and also make sure that you please give us your contact information so that we can keep up with you and give you updates as this case moves through the Planning Commission. So with that, do we have any questions? Let's see, participants.
We don't yet, Stephanie. No one's written.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Does anyone have their hand raised and want to ask out loud? Roy, you have your hand raised. Did you have something else to add?
I've got I don't know if it really makes any difference, but I have the corrected plan if you want me to show it.
Okay, we can
You
switch.
go back to share content, try that again. Yeah. Tell me when you're ready. Is that it? Let me say.
Yeah, you got it now.
I'm hoping this is it. No. Same plan again. Oh, my goodness.
No, that's it, Roy. It's the right one.
No.
Oh, Amelia said yeah.
Yeah,
that's right, Roy.
Thanks, Dave. You see on this plan how the circulation has been modified so that it doesn't have all these dead ends. You got good circulation within the site. So that's one of the improvements that the council member had suggested we make, and that change has been made. And if I zoom in, you can probably see also where there'll be an 8-foot grass strip here, and there's a 12-foot wide multi-path lane. It really sits well back from the Highway 100, and at some point in the future, I think Metro has proposed a major, walkway going along down through here for people to be able to bike or walk or get on access to the greenway. So that's also being incorporated into this plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Roy. Okay, I have a request to go back to my slide about how to raise your hand. So if I can have presentation, I can share my screen. We won't switch back and forth like this on the next one, I promise. Actually, I can't promise. It's not my show. Okay. Let's see. Oops. Really? Okay. Here we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, beside your name, there'd be like a little icon where you can click in the participant list or in attendee list to make sure that if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Or in the Q&A section, you can click under all and type in a question. Anybody? Bueller? No one has a question. Do you have a comment? Roy, did you raise your hand again, or is that like a?
No, if I can make a comment. I just want to thank you, Stephanie. I want to thank the council member. I want to thank y'all putting this together. I know y'all work endless hours on this. Very difficult times right now, and I appreciate what you've done here to set up this meeting. And I really think they're working out quite well. And a lot of these, it actually allows a lot of people in the community, although we don't have anybody here right now, to really be involved in a process. And so I just want to thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Well, we try to do our best.
Yeah, I've also got to say that it's been nice being able to do these meetings and have people be able to participate without the burden of going out in person and the logistics that come along with that. Stephanie, could you just mention briefly how this meeting and the public hearing on the 23rd are noticed to the public?
Oh, sure. So this meeting was noticed about 13 days in advance. We sent mailings out to about 200 people within a 1,300-foot area around the site. And so with that, then you got the notice in the mail to and how to participate online. We put it on our website, and I looked at trying to find different agencies or different departments or organizations within the area to promote the meeting as well, but I didn't see anything that was fitting within that immediate area, which is something that we typically do. Sometimes we'll have notices for the rezoning. The notices were put out on the site. I don't know if and those call into will give you information about how to participate at the public hearing at the Planning Commission. So on Thursday, July 23rd, we'll have the Planning Commission. It'll be a virtual meeting as well, and you'll have the opportunity to weigh in as well with the Planning Commission, to talk to the Planning Commission about whether or not you are in favor, if you support or oppose this project. Based on the information I'm gathering tonight, I will finish up my recommendation to the Planning Commission as to whether or not to approve or disapprove this plan amendment change. And that presentation will be ready the Friday before the Planning Commission meeting for people to review. Anita, did I miss anything?
No, just always remind people to check our webpage at nashville.gov/NPC, because cases often move around and are deferred. And before you, right now we're doing virtual meetings, but with in-person meetings where you take your time, make sure the case is on the agenda if it gets closer to the date.
Al, that's absolutely correct. I've had a couple of these that have been deferred for quite a few months over and over. So just trying to make sure that we are getting the right feedback at the right time. So that's another reason it would be important for you to give us your contact information, because if it's deferred, I can give you a heads up on that as well without having to waste your time to go to the meeting or go online and sit through them reading through the whole list. Okay.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, for your work on this, Amelia on the site, and the whole team. Roy, appreciate you making the changes to the site. And anybody in the community who lives nearby, please, as this goes on, please speak up and share your thoughts, whether it looks pretty good to me or just a question that you got or an opinion. Please don't hesitate. This is definitely the time to do it.
Yes,
so
please.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, and I guess with that, then thanks everybody for participating. And this is probably one of the shortest community meetings I've had. I appreciate everybody here. Have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.